Hey guys, Jill Coleman here with Jill Fit. Super pumped to have you here. This is the 5-day Action Academy Accelerated for health and fitness professionals or enthusiasts who want to learn online business. So I did this course last year. It was a little bit longer. It was about 6 weeks and it was really packed with so much stuff. But what I noticed was a lot of people ended up falling off because it was so long. So I wanted to take all of that, all of the best stuff, all the best tools, and put it into 5 days so that we can take a ton of action over the next week and get more done in 5 days than maybe you have in the last 6 months. So if you're here, you're interested in online business, I'm gonna be giving you all my favorite tools, strategies, insights for how to make that happen. Maybe you're a trainer, maybe you're a health coach, maybe you're someone who wants to be able to see people at a distance so you don't have to be in the gym or see patients across the desk all the time. We know that our time is limited and we can definitely reach a ceiling in terms of giving our time over to other people, especially working one-on-one. And when we have the ability to use the internet, we can create products, services, courses, etc. that reach many more people. So in Action Academy every day, it's very simple. You're gonna get a short video from me, literally like probably 10 minutes. I'm gonna do my best to keep it short. And then I'm gonna give you guys some action steps, a key insight, and then there's gonna be a homework assignment that you will have the next 24 hours to complete. It's not gonna be super involved. Sometimes it might take you 10 minutes, sometimes it makes you 30 minutes, but that's really about it because I know that you guys want to take action so you can start feeling in your power and you can start feeling more confident. Okay, so today we are gonna talk about the trust business. If you're a personal brand, what that means is that your face, your messages, your voice is out in front. So if you follow Jill Fit or you follow someone similar who you just know the person, you know what they look like, you know what their messages are, you know what they stand for, you know what their philosophy is, that's what we're going to be talking about this week. And so in order to really build trust, we've heard that people buy coaches, not coaching, right? So we know that if someone wants to work with us, they have to really connect with us human to human first, because here's the thing, there's a lot of different trainers, professionals, influencers, brands on the internet. And you know, each person, if they're looking for a meal plan or they're looking for a workout program, they're gonna probably connect with someone human to human first and then go, is this person qualified? Or then they're gonna ask themselves, can this person help me? But first of all, we always connect human to human. So we are in the trust business, which means that people don't buy from people that they don't know, like, and trust. Maybe you guys have heard of this before. So in order to, you know, the hard thing about trust is that by nature, it takes time to earn. So this is a long game. The tools and strategies I'm going to teach you this week are things that you can continue to do after this week is over. It's literally just rinse and repeat. I'm going to share with you my exact content strategy, how I do all of that, how I tie things together, and how I build attraction so that when people come in, they go, okay, she's my person. I know that I want to work with her because she just gets it. She's just like me. And so the things I'm going to be teaching you this week, you can just literally rinse and repeat week after week, month after month, year after year to build those connections and build your online client base. So today I want to talk about the trust business. When I think about trust, there are 4 big trust builders on the internet. The first is your expertise. So you have to actually be an expert. And so sometimes I know that this hits our trigger points. A lot of us are sensitive around, am I an expert? I don't feel qualified enough. Maybe you're experiencing imposter syndrome. Maybe you are comparing yourself to other people, your credentials. Here's the thing, most of us on the internet have about the same level of credentials. A lot of us have similar certifications. Unless you're like a PhD or a doctor or something like that, most of us are still at this like same playing field, right? Maybe you don't have a cert, but you have an amazing transformation story. So maybe for you, you haven't quite got that certification, or maybe you don't have multiple certs, but you have an amazing story and you have your personal experience or you have some client experience. And so there's 3 different types of experts. This is a framework that I borrowed from Brendan Burchard. He's an internet marketer. He says that there's 3 types of experts. Number 1, there's the results getter. The results getter is that person who maybe they don't read the research, maybe they don't have the college degree in exercise phys, but they just know what works with people. Maybe they have hundreds and thousands of client hours under their belts and they're just able to get results for people. So if you have that, you are a results getter. The second is the researcher. So the researcher expert is the one that we typically think about. It's like the person who has the PhD or the person who was reading all the research and knows all the biochemistry. And that's great and that's fine, but a lot of times this person might not have that much client experience, or they don't have their own personal transformation, but they just know the research inside and out. You don't have to be that person in order to be qualified to help people on the internet. The third and final is the role model expert. So this is maybe the traditional like Instagram model or something like that, Insta famous person who has a personal transformation, maybe went through some stuff, maybe they don't have a lot of clients, maybe they don't have the degrees or the certs, but they definitely have something that they can share, at least their personal story. So most of us hopefully have at least one of those three things. Ideally, you would like to have a little bit of all of those things. So if you are, you're an expert. But here's the thing. When we talk about expertise, what is your niche? What is the thing that you are the best at or one of the best at? So maybe if you're a role model expert, maybe you helped heal yourself from adrenal fatigue or metabolic damage, or maybe yo-yo dieting, or maybe you overcame an eating disorder. So while you don't maybe have a credential in, counseling or psychology, you know what it feels like. You've healed yourself, and you also understand and can share at least what you have done. And so when we think about expertise, that's kind of like that level 1 expert where you're sharing from your personal story. Level 2 expert is when you start to become the creator. So for example, maybe you're certified with someone like Precision Nutrition, or you're certified with a company like Metabolic Effects. And these companies have amazing resources and questionnaires and handouts and like a whole vocabulary that you can start to use with your clients. But you're certified, so of course you're qualified. But when you start creating your own frameworks, and I call them hashtags, like your own hashtags like moderation 365 or something like that, now all of a sudden you're the one who's at the top of that content chain, that creator chain, and other people are starting to emulate and learn from you. So if you're a level 1 expert, which means you're certified, you're credentialed, you have a transformation story, maybe you have a lot of client contacts, perfect, you're qualified. Level 2 expert is when you start to get, and I find that you get to that level 2 expert once you either do like a deep dive into the science on one specific thing. Maybe it's like GI, and you just read all the books. Not only do you read the books, but maybe you read the research that is in the books. We don't have to be a level 2 expert, but we want to eventually get to that point where we have mastered a single domain. If it's you, maybe you're like healthy lifestyle, healthy nutrition, maybe a little bit of mindset work, totally cool, you're qualified. So the first thing is you have to be an expert. If you're not, go out and try to find ways to bring up your expertise that never goes away. You have to constantly be doing stuff. I teach business, and I literally spent tens of thousands of dollars on my own education in business in the last 6 months because I know that I want to stay on top of that, and I want to become even more of an expert in my field. So that's something to think about. The second thing is relatedness. So the second thing that's going to help us build trust, and this is so key, and a lot of people getting started forget about this, it is relatedness. I need to know you. I need for you to pull back the curtain and show me a little bit about who you are. So what's your authentic voice? Do you, an example would be, do you cuss or not? I'm not saying that you should, by the way. I'm just saying that's a way for people to kind of latch on to the type of personality that you have. Are you someone who, does drink a glass of wine on the weekends? Are you someone who, talks about your family a lot? Are you a mom? Are you a busy executive? Like, who exactly are you? And so the way that I like to cultivate these is through something called knowables. Knowables are those like maybe 3 to 5 things about you that are maybe a little quirky, maybe they're just a little tractionable, and you start to share those things on the internet. So at Jill Fit, you guys know, I talk a lot about moderation, I talk a lot about mindset, I talk a lot about business. But the knowables are things like, I like to have a glass of wine. I like to eat a big ass salad, right? Hashtag BAS. I like Drake. I like to travel. I have kind of a little bit of a potty mouth. Like, you guys know this stuff about me. It has nothing to do with health and fitness. That's the key when it comes to relatedness. It has nothing to do with my views on health and fitness. It's more about who I am as a person. So maybe for you, if you're a mom, this is an example where you can bring in some of your family. You don't have to share the photos. I'm not saying you have to, but what are the things about maybe your personal life or the things behind the curtain that when you take off your teacher hat, that people can know about you? And these are what I call knowables, and you kind of strategically have to start playing them up on the internet. Of course, they have to be true. You can't be like, well, Jill likes Drake and that works for her, right? It needs to be, and here's the cool thing, is you guys know I like a lot of other artists too, but I talk about Drake a lot, and it's kind of like people are tagging me in memes when it comes to him. So it's an example of something that people can know about me and like latch onto. So sometimes I'll look at my Instagram feed and go, oh, I haven't really shared lately, a glass of wine that I'm having. Maybe, I'm gonna share that and talk about something today. So going through and being strategic on those, people cannot know you without you sharing those touch points. And here's the cool thing is you're going to be authentic, and it's not going to always resonate with everybody. And that's totally cool too. It doesn't have to. These are your lines in the sand. These are the things about you that if someone's like, I don't, and believe me, plenty of people have unfollowed, unsubscribed because I cuss every once in a while. People don't like that. And that's actually cool. And so I have to know, what are my lines in the sand, and what are these tractionable things going to be? Because if I'm trying to please everybody, I end up pleasing nobody. So that's number 2 trust builder is the relatedness piece. Number 3 is super simple. It's consistency. So here's the thing. If you show up every day on social media and you're sharing, and maybe you're blogging, or maybe you're vlogging, or maybe we just started a podcast a few months ago called the Best Life Podcast, people expect to see you, and you have to show them that you're good at showing up. We know this. If someone is reliable, we're going to be much more likely to trust them if we know that they're going to show up. So this comes down to, are you showing up consistently? And here's the thing, if you don't post on social media for a week, probably no one's going to be like, where's Jill, right? Like, no one's really gonna notice. But if you've gone for like 6 months, or you're gone for 3 months, you're not as reliable. So I'm not gonna feel like I can trust you as much. So consistency is key. Over the next few days, I'm gonna share with you guys my content creation system, so you know exactly how, and you can actually automate some of this stuff so it's not taking you so long to create content all the time. I'm gonna share with you the tools and systems that I use, but you have to be consistent. At a minimum, posting on social media multiple times per week. Maybe you do one more epic piece of content per week. It could be a blog, it can be a podcast, it can be a Facebook Live, it can be a video. Needs to be something so people are seeing you consistently. Because if you're getting started, guess what? Nobody knows you yet. Your friends, your family, your acquaintances, your friends of friends, they might know you, and they're like, oh, that's cool. Jill's doing, some fitness and health coaching. I didn't know that about her. But if I just go away after a couple weeks, they're like, what happened to that? And they're not going to trust me, and they're not going to take me seriously. So consistency is absolutely key. And so when we talk about kind of content creation, I'm going to give you my system. But really it comes down to, are you showing up online? Are they constantly seeing you? And we know that the algorithm on Facebook and Instagram, it's like even harder for people to get you. So you have to be consistent, because if you post 10 things, they might only see 1 or 2 of those things. So consistency is key. All right, and number 4, trust builder. This is a little bit more intangible. This is what I call the X factor. So the X factor is like just that thing that when maybe you're scrolling on Instagram and you're like, that person just has it, right? It doesn't mean they're like extremely good looking. It doesn't mean they're like super in shape. I think a lot of times we think that, oh, I have to have a 6-pack or no one's gonna care, or I need to be super smart or no one's gonna care. That's not really what we're talking about. An X factor, the closest thing I can think of is like charisma. Like, what is the thing about you that is so memorable? And so for most of us, it's going to probably be our story. So tomorrow we're going to talk a lot more about story, but today it really does come down to, what do people know you for? What's your backstory? What's your origin story? So at JillFit, a lot of people come to me because they know that I have a history with competitions, that I did a lot of yo-yo dieting. I've talked about that quite a bit, and not just one time, not just a dozen times, but like hundreds of times. And over the last 7-8 years, people have seen those similar stories over and over again. And they go, oh, she's the one she was like kind of a crazy dieter. She did all those shows when she was younger. And that's kind of how I got my start. I don't really talk about yo-yo dieting as much anymore. It's not a huge part of my brand, but that's the thing that people come to know me for. So your X factor, are you someone who lost a whole bunch of weight? Are you someone who didn't like exercise and just got into exercise in your 40s? Are you a mom of 4 kids? Are you a busy, working mom and you have to manage this stuff? Like, what's the thing about you? What are you really good at? What are you better at than anyone else? And this is your X factor. This is the thing that people are gonna come to know you for. So a lot of times this comes down to your origin story. So this is probably the hardest one to do, because you're like, I don't know what makes me special. Over time, you'll start to see what does make you special. And so this is kind of similar to the relatedness piece, where people do need to know you, but your X factor is like, are you kind of funny? Are you, I don't know, you guys know my friend Danny J, who we have the podcast together, and she's just like kind of off the wall. She's like, her humor is just like one step too far, but she has this like, people just really adore it. It's like kind of cute that she has this like really crazy sense of humor, things that I would never in a million years post, but it works for her because that's her personality. Are you sarcastic? Are you kind of salty? Are you kind of bitchy even? These things are okay. We don't have to be just like everyone else. We need to have our own voice and our own way of doing things. And so the X factor, probably the hardest one to do, but write down some notes on this and just go, okay, maybe what's my story? What is the thing? What's the thing that's odd about me? What's the thing that's a little bit different about me that I can start to play up on the internet? So those are the biggest 4 trust builders. We talked about it: consistency, relatedness, expertise, and that X factor. Super, super key. So we're gonna get into content creation the rest of this week, but here's your homework for today. If you don't have solutions to problems that people are having, say it again, if you don't have solutions for problems that people are having, you don't have a business. So we always talk about trying to solve someone's issue. If someone is struggling with weight loss, if someone is struggling with adrenal fatigue, if someone is struggling with GI issues, if someone is struggling with gaining muscle, these are the things that when people talk to you, they complain about. So we want to tap into those struggles so that we can create a solution. Okay, so we need to have struggles and we need to have solutions. And as an expert, as a trust brand, we have solutions. Maybe you're a personal trainer, health coach, you know what these things are. So here's what your homework is. This will probably take you 15 minutes. I want you to make 2 columns on your piece of paper, take a journal out or whatever, and have 2 columns. On one side of the column, I want you to write struggles. These are known struggles. And I want you to list a minimum of 10 things that you know people are struggling with. But they don't need to be big things. It can be like, what to eat after my workout, cardio or weights first, should I do intermittent fasting or not? What about keto? These are questions that when someone finds out that you're a health professional, they immediately ask, oh my God, what should I do for stretching? You know, what's the best exercise to do for glutes? How do I get my abs tight, right? These are super simple things that a lot of times if we're, you know, kind of like, we might have the curse of knowledge, maybe we don't think about this stuff anymore, but these are key things that people are constantly asking. So one column, these are known struggles, and you can, you know, write these in maybe a Q&A. Jill, what should I eat after my workout? Jill, what's the best thing to eat before my workout? Jill, what types of cardio should I be doing? How long should I be going? What type of protein powder should I be using? Right? These are known struggles, known questions. And then on the other side, in that column, next to each one of those struggles, I want you to write out what your unique solution is. Doesn't have to be like mind-blowing. It's just like, what would you say if someone came up to you at the grocery store and said, you know, what should I eat after my workout? I'm here, I'm trying to get the best thing to eat after my workout is over. What would you tell them on the spot? What would you tell them? And I want you to write that in the column next to each one of those struggles. I want you to write what your specific solution would be. And this is where we have to kind of take off our consumer hat and put our creator hat on. So consumer, maybe you're someone who loves precision nutrition, or you love metabolic effect, you follow these companies and their philosophies really closely. I don't want you thinking, what would John Berardi say or what would Jay Tita say? I want you thinking, what would I say? Maybe based on your personal experience, your credentials, the research that you've done, what would you just tell somebody? Super simple, do not overthink this. One column, it's gonna be known struggles. The other column, it's gonna be your specific solution. And what this is gonna do, it's gonna set us up really nicely for the rest of the week because we're gonna be creating a lot of content and pressing publish. So today is your freebie. This is not front-facing homework, which means we're not going to be pushing publish on the internet. This is for you to start getting some brainstorming going and getting a whole bunch of content that we're going to be able to deploy over this week. So 4 trust builders, and then you have your homework assignment, known struggles, and your specific solutions, the things that you would tell someone if they asked you on the spot. And then tomorrow and the rest of this week, we're gonna put those things to good use. Okay, cool. So if you guys have any questions, post in our closed Facebook group. Make sure you guys share. I would love to hear. Go ahead and in the group, tell me what you did. If you have any questions about this, did you get it done? Let's make sure that we support each other and that we connect there, because tomorrow, this is gonna be getting a little bit more tricky over the next week, but this is your gimme homework. Get it done, 10 to 15 minutes, you're done, and then I'll see you tomorrow. Bye guys.